Hello, Warrior fans. Scott once again. I appreciate you joining for another episode of DUBS Playoff Watch. You know me, just an ordinary man, but an extraordinary fan. Like all of you out there, if you're watching DUBS Playoff Watch, as I stated a few episodes ago, you are an extraordinary fan. No question. So I mentioned that this was going to be a big night, or last night was going to be a big night. We had several games on the docket that were extremely important to the Western Conference race when you look at the 6th through the 10th spots, and this is all proven out to be accurate. So let's cover this real quick. And while we're doing that, obviously, as you can see, I have incorporated split screen view here because you don't want to listen to me for 10 minutes and you certainly don't want to look at me. I know I don't want to do that. So I want to make it a little more entertaining for you. So I have evolved as a human being, and I'm supposed to be a technology guy, so the least I can do is incorporate some standings, maybe some video highlights. So I'm going to start trying to incorporate that into these presentations, if you will. All right, so as you see, there's the standings, but last night Spurs won, Lakers won, Pelicans won, but the Grizzlies and the Mavs both lost. And as you can see from the standings, so the Warriors play the Mavs tonight. So if the Warriors win, they will keep pace with the Spurs, and we all know they've been going back and forth for the last couple of weeks on that 9th spot. And the Spurs, by the way, they have upped their winning percentage. They were at 60%, now they're up to 70% over the last 10. So the Spurs, competitive always over the last 20 years. And here they are again. They are not going to bow out easily. Grizzlies, they could tie the Grizzlies as well. So the Warriors, the Spurs, and the Grizzlies could all be tied for that 8th spot. And if, in order for that to happen, again, the Warriors got to win tonight, and they're playing the Mavs. So that would that infers the Mavs would have lost, and that will move them 11 games back from the first position. And as a result, the Warriors would only be a game and a half behind the Mavericks in that 6th spot. And obviously, they'll all be only a game behind the Trailblazers for that 7th spot. Extremely, extremely compelling right now. So I want to kind of walk us through, share some of the highlights from last night's games. As I mentioned, the Spurs beat the Wizards. That was an overtime game, outstanding game. Came down to the final seconds, and the Spurs were able to beat the Wizards by 3. The Wizards obviously had been on a roll. I think now they're 8-2, but I believe they were 9-1 going into that over the last 10. And they had been just the hottest team in the NBA, frankly. And so that was a tough one for the Spurs to win. And that just tells you that they're ready for playoff time. The Wizards as well. Either team could have won that game. And as you're looking at the highlights here, DeRozan ended up with 37. Keldon Johnson ended up with 21. Murray 25. Rudy Gay 17, still doing it. And Murray had 17 boards as well. That's worth noting. Just real quick on the Wizards side, definitely worth mentioning that Bradley Beal had 45, and Russell Westbrook had another triple-double, so 13, 14, and 22. So just a tremendous game. Now the Nuggets and the Grizzlies. So real quick on the Nuggets stats. Since the Nuggets had won, Michael Porter Jr. scored 31 points, and the Joker, Jokic, scored 24. Aaron Gordon scored 15. Jokic, 15 boards, 5 assists, also worth mentioning. And Millsap, love Paul Millsap, 12 points, kicking in 4 boards. So outstanding game. The Grizzlies, Morant led them with 27. Okay, let's talk about the Mavericks and the Kings. The Kings, for those of you who watch this game, stepped up big time. Now they had a really good game against the Warriors as well, and kudos to them for man. They're playing hard towards the end of the season. They are all in, trying to win every game possible. So their center, Rashawn Holmes, had a heck of a game with 6 boards, but put in 24 points. And Harrison Barnes, he couldn't be stopped at the beginning of the game. As a matter of fact, I don't think he got enough attempts. Love HB, he put in 19 points and grabbed 6 boards. Buddy Hield, he had 5 boards, 5 assists, and he got 16 points. Again, neither one of those guys, I think, got enough 3-point attempts because they were hitting all night long. And at the beginning of the game, you couldn't stop Harrison Barnes. Terrence Davis put in 8, and Metu followed up 9 points. Lakers, they were able to overcome. Anthony Davis was able to get 8 boards and 18 points, but Dennis Schroeder led the team with 21, and Montrezl Harrell doing it, 18 points as well. He only had 5 boards. Usually he puts in more than that, but that was his contribution for the evening. KCP put in 10 points, and he had 5 boards and 3 assists. And the last game that we'll be looking at is the Pelicans beating the Clippers, and the Clippers were at a 90% rate. But the Pelicans beat them 120-103. So big game for the Pelicans, saying that we are not done yet. Zion, 23 points. Brandon Ingram, 17 points. Lonzo Ball, 9 boards, 7 assists, and 18 points. Great game. Bledsoe put in 18 points. They had widespread scoring and distribution all over the place. Needless to say. So, where does that bring us? Today's games, as I mentioned before, the Mavs play the Warriors. By the way, Pacific time start, looks like it's 6:30 tonight. So just want to make sure all of you are ready for that, because typically it would be a 7 at the Chase Center, but it looks like it's at 6:30 tonight. And also the Blazers versus the Pacers. So looking back at the standings, you can see how important this game is to the Blazers, and how critical it is. It's also critical to the Pacers fighting for that playoff spot over in the East as well. They're battling the Wizards, who we just talked about, are extremely hot, and they're also battling the Bulls. And there's only game separation over there in the East too, in those the 5th, 6th, as I recall, down to the 10th spots, I should say. But anyway, so if the Trailblazers lose, there's only a half game separation between the Grizzlies, the Spurs, the Warriors, and the Trailblazers, let alone what we talked about with the Mavericks. So huge night again tonight. Very compelling. And that is it for me today. Again, I appreciate you guys joining, watching, listening, and all it means is we're all huge Warrior fans, and this is exciting. Can't wait for the playoffs to get started. But keep going, Warriors. Man, we're true fans. And let's go, Dub Nation. Again, for those of you who are going to make it out to Chase Center with a 35% capacity in the arena, come on, keep it up just like last game. Get loud, and let's go, Warriors. Thank you again, and everybody stay healthy out there.